Good evening, classmates. Today I'm very much touched by what is happening in Swaziland. And ngicabanga ukuthi if some of us are still afraid of talking about it, then we don't have a life. Lento leyendeka eSwatini, it's not because some of us are basically, stupid. All of us who went to St. Mark's High School, nasifika thina labanye, we're coming from different schools. Some from Lusoti, some from Simonye, some from St. Mark's, some from St. Michael's, some from Gilead. And it's true, we were laughed at. My name is Siphetfo from Gilead Primary School. We were laughed at. But let me just make it clear, my fellow schoolmates and classmates. Let's be truthful to ourselves. Life is too short. It is nonsense. It's unacceptable. And deep down at the bottom of our hearts, we know the truth. We are faced with witchcraft. And it's unfortunate because some of us are benefiting out of these things. And we forget those who are going to die. We are going to die. We have decided, get in, some of us, because it doesn't matter. And it shouldn't matter. It's not only we want Swaziland to be democratized. It's not only that, but sifuna lokuthi labantu baseswatini babe nako lokuthi bakhululekile. The idea yokuthi isihlobo sakho asinayo i-medication yeka government hospital cause emaphilisi or imali emaphilisi idliwe nguhulumende or whosoever is involved for the benefit of their stomachs should not be welcome. Unless and only if we feel we have to do it for our families. And that's being selfish. That's being selfish, very selfish. Ngitsanguvede, former schoolmates and classmates. We carry a responsibility, all of us. Because there is something that history must remember us about. History must not remember you when you have achieved all this and that. It shouldn't. History must remember you when they get info, let's see, there's somewhere, and you were there, and your heart was there. And you were able to fulfill a purpose yakho umuntu. How do you assist the next person? How do you face a dinosaur that's in front of you? I'm very sorry to speak about these issues at this particular point in time, but I'm touched. Deep down in your heart, if Swaziland is so dilapidated as it is right now, what is happening? Most of Emaswati, they are going to the different countries. They're going to South Africa, they're going to Botswana, they're going to USA, Taiwan, you name it. What is happening to your conscience? Really and truly, and irrespective of mere human opinion, what is happening to you as an individual? I'm not advocating for anything, but I'm simply saying let us come back to our senses and forget ourselves and remember the next person. Sineke, all of us will relate. In this group, and as time goes on, we're going to be losing some of ourselves, some of us, la. Not because kumele sibaluze, but because we have a schoolmate or a classmate who is going to go to a government hospital, eBabani or RFM, nakafika lapho kudingati kude in him. But we know for a fact ukuthi kukhona abantu abathatha le tingati leto batithengise somewhere else so that their own families can benefit. No, man. May I request, because we don't call this politics. This is not politics. This is the fact. And we studied so that we can speak the truth. Irrespective of your field of study, it doesn't matter. But there's one powerful field of study. Your conscious. Your conscious. Kwendakalani kuthini la kuwe? When all of us have to gather for a family kind of funeral, and you know you have a responsibility. Kufuna ngene bo dubs manje, kufuna ngene bo whatever funeral cover. Because of a system. Please, if it necessitates, do call Siphetfo mad. Do call Siphetfo mad. But let that which you studied, or let your conscience say to yourself, what am I contributing to change this system? What am I contributing to help a Maswat? Or to even help yourself, because tomorrow is forever. What are you doing? You can benefit now, but tomorrow it's something else. And we have seen that in many occasions. I have an appeal, therefore. I seriously have an appeal. And it is a request from the bottom of my heart. Let us stop embracing this whole idea of imihlanga, tingcwala, buganu, and all those things. Mswati must know he's a human being. We grew up knowing that he's a king, of course. Of course he is. But there's no society that has ever developed tough men during the time of peace. Can we change this beautiful country so that it becomes a more beautiful, if there is such a term, a more beautiful kind of state, more like Singapore, more like Qatar, more like the USA, etc., etc. But it must come from you as an individual. Can we start speaking about these things? Can we? Is it possible? Is there a possibility? So that at least history will remember us by what we have contributed. Kulabo gogo nabomkhulu abasesithobelweni. Kuleti xhwala letikhona eSt. Joseph's. Kulamaphara lakhona kaManzini eMbabane eShiselweni, Konge, all these places. Including our own classmates. Can we do that? It's an appeal. It's an appeal. It's good enough to be a patriot. Love your country. It's fine. But let's also embrace the logic in ourselves. How do you deal with the people? How do you deal with the people whose families are so much engraved in poverty? How do you deal with those people? I'm sorry, this has to be a lengthy kind of, talk that I'm doing. But I think it's pivotal. It's a matter of critical importance that we venture into this area. And so I get very much worried. If, for example, Tabakona Sibaya, the so-called Sibaya, where a Maswati must speak, when you get into that platform and you speak matters of critical importance, then you are like, aren't we in prison? Aren't we in prison? What's the at some point, Siphetfo utatisola usemtoy ukaka. Pardon me for that language, but that is what she said. Meaning all of us carry that responsibility, because at some point, we will think, really and truly, is this thing working? And what is it that we are contributing? In marks. What is it that we are doing to contribute to change the system? System may not change now, but what are you doing? And if the system happens to change tomorrow, where will you be? It is my strong advice. Let's rather remain neutral or take a stance. There is no point lapho khona singathi sifuna emaswati acilateke. Sikubonile sonke. I think sonke sina matric or form 5 and sifunzile. This thing is not working. It's not working. We don't need an external force to do that. Right now, we're faced with a global calamity where Israel and Palestine and there's Gaza involved. A global war, World War III. And the focus is there. But Tine was silent. No, relax. Go right. No, also we'll take care of that and all of that. Sibaya, Sikona, and blah, blah, blah. What are you doing as an individual? What are you doing? Again, it is my appeal. Let's hear the voices. Let's remember the 1970s, 73 student uprising in Soweto. Let's remember the only people that can bring change is you, me, him, her. Let's learn from South Africa. Let's learn from Botswana, Lesotho. Let's learn from the DRC. Let's learn from all the beautiful African countries. Let's learn from Ghana, the first country that attained independence in Africa. What is history going to remember you of? It's a question. What are you going to remember about as an individual? Excuse my pauses now and again. But let us talk, even if it necessitates that we spark a debate out of this. But let us talk. Swaziland is in a very bad state of dilapidation. It's terrible, horrible, not good, very bad. A country that even can't take a position on the issue of Israel-Palestine war. It can't take a diplomatic position. Let's not pretend everything is fine. Let's not. I appeal to all of us that we find it in our conscience. If it requires us to consult with God Almighty, let us do so. Kind regards.